Welcome to HTM on the Line podcast. I'm your host, Bryant Hawkins Sr. And today we're thrilled to have Philip Villegas, a passionate HTM professional, join us on the show. Philip has spent 11 years in the HTM industry, from ceremonial duties for presidents to managing cutting-edge medical technologies across the globe. As we celebrate his achievements, we'll explore the insights and experiences that have defined his remarkable career in HTM. Let's get started and dive into Philip's inspiring story. Philip Villegas, how you doing today, man?
I am happy as can be. I can't complain. Just celebrated my 31st birthday on Tuesday. Just hit my 11th year mark in the Navy yesterday, so I'm happy as can be.
Okay, great, man. I'm glad you took a little time to come join me on HTM on the Line. Before we get going, just give us a little background about yourself and how you got to the journey where you are. I know you said you was in the military for 11 years, but give us a little background about yourself and your journey to up to today, I guess.
Understandable. What could I say? I started my naval career back in 2013. I came out of Orlando, Florida. Ironically, I was at a concert on my 20th birthday and woke up to my recruiter saying, "Hey, you need to be here right now." After a whole night at IHOP. And then I flew to Great Lakes. I finished my time there. I got selected to do ceremonial guard duty, which is the Navy Presidential Honor Guard for the 44th president, which was Obama at the time. It was really fun. I was selected to do drill team, where I would throw those 1903 rifles with the bayonets at the end. And I traveled around the country and got to performed in arenas and stuff. It was like a dream come true. It was a blast. But then I found out about biomed when I was in the ceremonial guard. I talked to my uncle, who ironically has been working for Mindray, and he's been inventing medical equipment since 1982. And I knew, hearing that, biomed was the fit for me. It just seemed right. Like, it just seemed like it fit like a glove. So I ended up going to hospital corps school in 2015 at Fort Sam Houston. Finished my time there. Went to dental tech school because I had to do an obliserve, which requires us to basically fill out that contract for 3 years. Got stationed in DC again, which I was trying to avoid, but I ended up going back to DC. I got selected to be the dental assistant for the 44th and 45th president, which was really awesome. And then be the dental assistant for the second person in charge for the dental corps in the Navy, as well as all the heads of Navy dentistry. It was an honor. Did my time OJTing at the biomed shop at Walter Reed with people like Ray Usain, who I love to death. The one African-American female chief BMET in the Navy, Chief Payne, H1 Perone, and then H1 De La Pena, who's now a chief. And it was awesome as well. I finished my time there, went to biomed school in 2018 at Fort Sam, and then got shipped to Guam in 2020 to be a biomed tech over there. And ever since 2018, I haven't worked a day in my life. My job is my hobby. It's the best thing in the world, man. I got to be in charge of, I was the MOU liaison for the whole entire island and Joint Regions Marianas for all the tenant commands. So I did the medical equipment that the Navy SEALs would have to go out with, the EOD guys as well. And then even the ships coming in from port, that were in the Indo-Pacific as well as the Pacific. Yeah, it was fun. Finished my tour there, and now I'm here in California as the biomed tech at Naval Hospital Camp Pendleton, where myself and the first classes at my shop run all the medical equipment on Camp Pendleton Hospital. Are, I think, 16 medical and dental clinics in the area, to also include like Fort Hueneme and other duty stations like that. So it's been a great career. I love what I get to do, man.
Oh man, that's great. Just I hear the passion in you, and the fact you said it doesn't feel like you're working. That's awesome. But I'm gonna ask you this though. Now, you've been in the industry for 11 years. Now, in your 11 years, what would you say is one of the most challenging experiences you've had to get through, and what did you learn from it?
That's a great question. Honestly, it was always educating the user about maintaining their equipment and their responsibility, right? I always believe that when you're doing PMs, right, or you're doing, let's say, a project to install new equipment or ordering process, that the department as well as you are in a relationship, if so to will. You know, like if you were to say, like, you know, you and them are trying to figure out how to best get this project done. And of course, them understanding how important it is for them to do their part, right? Telling that department, hey, please locate these items a month prior before we arrive. That way, when I come over there, I'm the best service to you. I can knock out all this equipment. I'm not in your way while you're doing patient care. And I'm out of there within the first week instead of spending so much time during that month trying to locate items. As well as it takes time away from you doing unscheduled repairs, right? So I think that's usually the biggest challenge, is being able to make sure that that clinic or that department understands their importance in the maintenance of their equipment, right? Like, it's like having a car. The dealership is not going to come over and ask you, hey, by the way, can I take your car? I'm going to do maintenance on it. No, you have to understand that your car is due for maintenance, that you have to bring it over there. And I'm going to do my part to make sure that that medical equipment is good to go and ready for the patient use. So I usually think that's been my biggest problem as a biomed tech in the industry. But when you're able to explain it and they understand their part, work is easy. It flows well. And everybody's happy on each end, right? Especially when we're talking about doing those projects to install new equipment.
Now, what do you do, Philip? What do you do to recharge or stay motivated during those tough times? Now, what you do? I mean, you're always a high energy guy, just from meeting. So I don't know if you even have to be motivated, but what do you do to recharge yourself to stay motivated when you get in tough times?
Man, that's a good question. I know when I'm away from work, it's usually date night with my wife, right? Whenever the workday is hard, because my wife also works in medicine, right? My wife is a FMF corpsman in the Navy as well. So that's basically a combat medic for the Navy, right? And you remember meeting her. You wouldn't believe that my wife was 125 pounds, carrying 85 pounds of equipment on her with a rifle and hiking 8 to 10 miles to do so. But we do date night, right? And I'm able to kind of reset myself. And a lot of the time, if I'm at work, one, it's easy when I love what I do, right? you can't it's not much of a burden to put the extra mile in when you really love waking up and doing what you love doing for a living. But I know I always remind myself that how you do anything is how you do everything. So that when you want to take that step off, you got to remember that you have a product to give. So continue pushing through and continue giving your best. That's what keeps me going, man.
Great, man. Now, I'm just going to jump out there and listening to the way you talk. It's obviously you have some great mentors, or you have some books you read. Are there any resources or mentors that you can say significantly influence your development?
Oh, easy. As far as my personal life, rest in peace to my mentor, Don Carlock. He was my mentor since I was 12 years old. He passed away back in 2022. And the man taught me a lot about patience, and about pursuing the love of the career, not pursuing the money of the career, right? Because if you pursue the love of the career, the money will always come. As well as you wake up every day doing your best, right? And giving your all. And it really spoke words to me when I was 12 years old. And every time I would come home on leave, I would always sit down and talk to him. There was not a day that man wasn't a big part of my life. And then, of course, like as far as biomed's concerned, man, then my Navy senior BMEDs that I had at my first biomed shop, HM1 Leroya, who's about to retire soon, HM1 Kapili, Nelson, even my guys on the same rank as me, oh God, he actually got out. Travis Smith, I love him, man. He can continue to challenge me, and we competed to do well. And then HM2 Dumpet, he was the most talented BMed I ever met, but he was the clown in our biomed shop. He always was doing pranks on my desk, and I used to get so mad at him. But he would take me with him and would teach me exactly what I needed to learn to be able to run a shop, right? So being a part of boards and reviewing packages for buying new equipment, how to go about troubleshooting. He was absolutely amazing. I love him. And then, of course, like my instructors that I was at in biomed school, each and every one of them poured into me. Actually, the best thing about the military is every 2 to 3 years, when you change a duty station, you go to a new shop, you meet new leaders that pour into you every day. My current shop right now, I have Brandon Richardson, Blake Diston, and Miller, and first name Lester. And every time I ask them, hey, what do I need to do to improve? What am I not seeing? Even my buddy Jesse Rivera, I love him. Every time I ask them something, they gave me the criticism I needed to fix and make myself better than I was. There's so much more I can list, but that will be for another time or another day. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you know how it is in a shop, man. The characters you have in a biomed shop is the best workplace you could ever find, but bar none. So I gotta thank all of them, man.
That's great, man. You are fortunate, honestly, to have that many mentors in your life. Some people may be able to name one or two. You said about 6, 7, 8 names just now. And that's great. Now, just to get a little personal here, you mentioned that you and your wife have date night. Now, what maybe outside of your professional life, I would say, what are some passions or hobbies you have, other than, of course, spending time with your mate? But do you have any hobbies that you partake in?
Man, that's a good question. I like playing Madden with my little brother. Because I left my little brothers for the Navy when they were 11 years old, and now my youngest brother plays college football. Um, and he actually graduates with a degree in business soon. So that warms my heart. But we play Madden all the time. Um, that kid is now good, and it hurts because when he was a kid, I had to, like, your dad says, "Hey, let him win," and I used to let him win, and now he has an inflated ego when he wins now. But you know what I mean. But it's fun playing Madden with my little brothers. Man, what else? I do CrossFit every now and then. Volleyball, when I was in Guam and growing up, was my favorite sport to play. It's hard to find volleyball here in California when you're not already a part of a league, and especially with time. But volleyball is one of my favorite sports. It's actually been my favorite sport to play since I was a sixth grader. Yeah, so those things kind of keep me well rounded and good. Oh, and if I ever go home to Orlando, deep sea fishing with my dad, that is my favorite thing to do. Is go deep sea fishing with my dad. I love it. That right there is nothing like going out there and catching some fish and just bonding with him. We did it when I was a kid growing up, and now as an adult, those things keep me all those little things keep me grounded.
Man, I truly admire. Obviously, family is a big, huge part of your life, and that's great because without family, it's kind of hard to make it in this world. And you definitely seem like you grew up around a lot of love because the way you talk about your family is just, it exudes affection and appreciation for a family. So that's a great blessing to have, man. So I appreciate hearing and experiencing the love you express about your family. But now I don't want to say the question be always where you see the industry going in 10 years. Where do you see this industry, biomed, healthcare technology management, where do you see it going, I'll say the next 5 years? Because it's changing every day, look like. But where do you see our industry heading?
Man, you're not wrong. It's what's interesting is I actually got off the phone with one of the chief BMETs, Dylan Marone. I was fortunate to be stationed with him at Walter Reed 6 years ago. He's actually the BMET in charge of the curriculum at Fort Sam, and they're changing it again. They changed it when I was there, when I was almost finished with the curriculum back in 2019, and they're changing it again to be able to fit what we're dealing with medicine now, which is almost every item of equipment we deal with has network capabilities, right? And as a BMET, we have to understand IT now, right? Back then, hardware, nuts and bolts, circuit board, soldering, you're good to go. Now you do have to understand A plus and Sec plus and Network plus. And then of course what we know Dr. Smoot talks about it all the time, where we're going with artificial intelligence. That's going to have to be a part of our toolkit, right? Just like a ProSemate is or a ESU is, right? Understanding how to use artificial intelligence when it comes to preventive maintenance, when it comes to even right now, what I love about that CMIA Connect conference that we were at, they were talking about how artificial intelligence is going to basically get us to almost predictive maintenance, right? Yeah. So I see us having to be able to understand those things and having it a part of our tool bag, right? I think LinkedIn, a lot of these companies are posting BMET IT, right? Because we have to understand these things. So going in the next 5 years, I see many BMETs being required to actually have A+ as a certification at minimum. to being able to be an asset out there in the medical industry.
Is there any particular project or, I guess, achievement that you are the most proud of in your short career you've been in the industry?
My favorite project is the events that I've been doing. The one I did last year and the one that I'm starting with right now. With last year was the HTM Summer Bash, where I had all the active duty military BMETs in Southern California. We met up. We had companies like Kaiser Permanente and QRS, Pio Bio, VMS Laser. They all sponsored it. And we had fun. We had food. Guys that haven't seen each other since BMET school in 2011 were happy to see each other, joking around. We had old school Navy BMETs from the late 90s and the early 2000s, guys who were instructors for people who will end up being my leadership. All there, we were able to we were able to network with these companies and talk, and more so just enjoy time with each other. And then, of course, the best part was all these companies that sponsored it came out with gift card stacks thicker than a Harry Potter book, and was like, "Hey, raffle these off." And we were able to give a gift card to all the BMETs out there, as well as their family members. Even like a couple of kids got some Starbucks coffee gift cards, and like the parents were like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take that from you. You don't even need caffeine." But that project was really huge for me because it was great to see faces that I haven't seen in years. It was great seeing everybody smiling and connecting. It was great seeing that passage of the baton, passing of the baton from older BMETs to the newer generation. And that's one thing I love about not only the healthcare technology management community, like people like yourself who pour into my generation every day, helping us learn, but more so the active duty military component of healthcare technology. We're brothers and sisters that served in shops overseas. We're brothers and sisters that had to do medical equipment out in the middle of the ocean, as well as in the last war in Afghanistan and Iraq and in many other places, servicing medical equipment in the front lines. And to be able to be together and just talk, man, it just means a lot. That was one of my favorite projects I've ever done. That's better than any equipment project I've done in my career. That warmed my heart.
All right, now let's see if we can pull back some layers from this. Mm-hmm. HTM Summer Bash, that's what you call it, right?
Yes.
And so I'm assuming it's done in the summer, obviously. Now, its main objective, let's just do it in small pieces here. Mm-hmm. What's the main objective? Sound like you said it's about brotherhood, but there's also, what is the main objective? You had to put the top tier objective on the whole thing.
Top tier objective is easily to get active duty BMETs to network with civilian organizations. So because of the success of last year's event, this year's event, we're in talks with 14 companies. Right now, 4 companies have already put their hat in. We were just waiting to after MD, not MD Expo. Was it MD Expo? Yeah, MD Expo in Las Vegas. For companies to finish with that event and start focusing on ours. But for these guys to network, right? The hardest thing with the active duty BMETs and what we do in the military is we focus on our mission so much, right? Because for us, when we're doing what we do, we know it's to our brother and sister to the left and right of us that are about to go get deployed. We know it's for the family members that have to get seen at our hospitals, like here in Camp Pendleton or our Balboa Hospital or a Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in DC. We know that every time we touch equipment, the mission is to get these numbers done, to make sure this is working, because this equipment is going to save lives for our families and get our guys ready to deploy. And we don't market ourselves to the civilian world, which is funny. When every time I go to a meeting, like a CMIA Connect meeting, every company is like, we want military BMETs. You guys are a hot commodity, and they know we exist, but they don't know the faces. And that's what this event is basically geared towards, is that guy, that female BMET having a chance to say, hey, I'm John, I'm Sarah, I'm whatever my name is. I've been a BMET in active duty service. I've done this on this platform. I've done this here. And I think I could be a great asset to your company. That's what this event main objective is for.
I know the challenges. When I did my internship, it was with a Navy SEAL, and he had just retired, so he was struggling with the civilian world.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned how you want to have a collaboration of the military techs with civilian, I guess, tech companies.
Yes.
Now, in this event, how would you say, I mean, I know you say they introduce themselves, but is there some type of collaboration, like event or something y'all do where y'all let them two come together to collaborate, or is it just basically meet and greet, or is there some type of way you strategize to have the two collaborate together?
So last year's event, it literally was just like meet and greet. A lot of the companies had their former active duty BMETs that are now veterans, right, attend the event, and they were able to give their business cards and, of course, talk. This year's event, the first day is going to be a meet and greet slash table set up for the companies to be able to sit down and talk to these active duty BMETs, and for them to be able to learn what each company has to offer, right? And giving not only the BMET options for when they get out of the military, because like I said, at the end of the time, by the time we're done with our service, we have to hang up the uniform, right? And it's for those guys to be able to have options when they are done with service. And for those companies to be able to see that person's face and be like, oh, I know who you are. I saw you at this event, et cetera, because most of the job hirings aren't what you know, it's who you know, right? So that's basically what that first day of that event is for them to be able to go talk to these companies, have that interaction, and have more than just a LinkedIn message between them, but really having a face-to-face sit down. And then the second day, of course, is what we're going to do, what military BMETs do best, which is have another beach bash, have a good time, enjoy each other's company, and eat a lot of food and have some jokes and some games. So that's what the aim of this year's event is going to be.
Okay, so some of them understanding that one day it's going to be networking, the next day it's going to be, I guess, celebrating and more networking.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. Do you, I guess, prep the military BMETs before this event, and do you prep the companies before the event to kind of give them an idea who they're going to be meeting, or you just let them come?
I let them come. BMETs are very, we're very individual thinkers. We basically march at the beat of our own drum, right? So kind of hovering over and if not really hovering over, but man, I don't have the word for it.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, do you? I'm willing to show you probably explain to them the objective of this HTM Summer Bash is,
Yeah.
I'm bringing you guys together with these vendors. Hopefully, the two of you can get together and maybe some type of future relationship could evolve from it. I guess that's what I meant to say more or less.
No, yeah. So, yeah, I do that a lot. I send out emails to all the commands that are within the area. And this year I was even reaching out to commands from around the country, even some commands that might be out in overseas, to see if they could put in their requests for their guys to be sent and have their trip paid for by the command, because this networking event is huge for them. I try to tell these guys that the hard thing with us and the civilian world is the civilian world knows we're there. They just don't know our faces. And these events help the like Kaisers of the world, the bios of the world, the providences of the world see who they are and now know that guy is an active duty military BMAT, right? That's what I try to stress with all my fellow active duty BMATs, right? As much as you put energy into the mission, put energy into marketing yourself as an individual, because when we, like I said, we put up the uniform sometime in our career, right? You have to market yourself to the outside world. And that's something that a lot of active duty BMETs sometimes lack, is because we put so much energy towards the mission, we don't market ourselves. So that's what I hone in and, stress to a lot of the active duty BMETs. And then with the companies, it's just, please come and show your faces, bring help with the resources, and talk to our guys. Our guys are eager to meet them. They're eager to talk to them. They're eager to know about what their company has to offer. Just show up and please just share time with us. That's all I ask. That's all I kind of stress with the companies when it comes to this event.
About how many people you expecting, or how many you had last year? I'll say that.
Last year we had about 50 to about 60 people at the event, and that's only because I organized it within a month and a half. This year we're looking about 100, 115, maybe 125. Yeah, it's because of, especially right now, my group of BMETs that were going through biomed school are getting out of the Navy or the military, because we're already finishing up our contract. So a lot of us are preparing to get out and are looking for those job opportunities. So like I can say my department alone, there's about 5 of us getting out within the next 5 months out of the 10 in our department, right? One of our other guys in our department leaves next year. I know a few guys at Balboa who are getting out soon. And so there's a lot more people that are going to be there, especially since I gave basically a 3-month notice to these commands and organizations to bring your guys there. And even I'm trying to get Army and Air Force that are within the area that are like in north of LA and stuff to come on, bring yourselves, enjoy time with us. We all serve. We all went to school together. Come and break bread.
Now, I know it's just the second year, but do you have any success stories from the first year that you might share?
Oh man. So one of my BMed instructors, he was at the event last year, and he got out. He retired after his 20 years of service. He absolutely was a big pillar in my development as a BMed when I was going through the schoolhouse. And he got hired at Kaiser Permanente just recently this year. One of my other BMEDs that was at my in my department got hired at Kaiser Permanente in San Marcos as well. And they both retired, and they got jobs. They're able to provide for their families on top of their retirement pension, and still doing what they love, which is healthcare technology. This year, especially with knowing how many people are getting out this year from the Navy alone, I expect that those more success stories to probably like double or triple what we had last year.
Yeah, that's great, man. I mean, just the effort you put into this. So you say you only did it in a month and a half last year.
Yes.
So did you start a little sooner this year, or how much time you put into planning this one this year?
So luckily last year I had Del Pasquale, another one of the mentors that has been an absolute godsend. He last year helped me start this event from scratch, right? I didn't know how to organize a healthcare technology event with vendors and people, like getting people all in one spot. I knew how to organize potlucks. I just didn't know how to organize an event. This year, I started, of course, back in February, and I already know who to go for because after last year's event, I got to network with all these companies. January, back at the CMI Connect meeting, I got to network with more of the leaders. Jason Villegas is also behind me on this. And CMIA San Diego chapter is now backing this year's event because of last year's event success. And it's easier this year with now knowing who's who, how to do what, people to reach out to, how to get the same spaces and more spaces. It all came together actually quite quickly. But this year we're actually last year a lot of the event was basically assembled with the help of my veteran BMEX. But this year I'm asking vendors to donate $375 to the event. Each cent goes towards food, family, games, and prizes for my active duty and veteran BMEX, and as well as them to when they get there. And that's all we're asking from them. And it will cover them being able to set up a table, as well as them being able to participate in the weekend's festivities, right? And that's all we're asking. And we raised about just over $1,500 right now. And with more room to grow, especially with a lot of companies myself, Jason, and Del Pasquale have talked to donating and giving a portion of their energy to this event.
Hey, man, that's great that you are putting something together like this. I mean, obviously it takes time and effort, and for you to be getting support means that people are believing in what you're trying to do. Now, I'm gonna ask you this question. We're wrapping things up here. Now, is there, how can I say this? Being you're such a young guy, but at the same time, you're doing something that's very memorable. But what would you say you would like to, from this event, I just use this event here, how would you like to be remembered by your peers and the people that you've touched? You know, how would you like them to remember you from the things you're doing?
That's a really good question. Ironically, I've thought about right? Legacy, right? Because when it's all said and done, you don't get to take your material things with you, right? But what you leave in this world is what truly matters. Outside of being the goofy dude I am in the biomed shop with my guys that know me, just to my legacy of just always caring about them and their families. Everything, these events that I'm organizing, and helping my guys network and go to the CMI events in between these, in between my own, is for them to have a better life for them and their families when they hang up their uniform. And I hope when it's all said and done in my life that I'm remembered for that, right?
Hey man, that's the key. Like everybody should, to me, working in this industry, that should be everyone's legacy. You want to have a legacy and impact.
Yeah.
And everything you speak about is helping other people, family. And that's the kind of people you need working on medical equipment, because that medical equipment is for that exact purpose, to help people and their families. So whether you know it or hear yourself, what you're doing professionally resonates on how you live your life every day. So you are creating an ultimate legacy for yourself without even probably thinking on that level of it yet, because you're young.
Yeah.
But just listening to you, you care about everything you're saying is not a me. You're saying about you want your guys to be great. You want to make their families good. You want to help the industry. And that's an awesome legacy, man. I mean, that's why I asked you that question, because that's what's in my mind about you. And I've met you in person once and we talked a few times online, but I can tell you're building yourself a great legacy, and you had a legacy built by your family, which is you are a reflection of the legacy you've inherited, and you're passing that on to your family, to your friends, and you to be commended for that, man. I just wanted to let you know that. And that's why I asked you that question, because that's all I've been hearing since you've been here, is how you care about other people, or you appreciate what people did for you. So that's once again saying legacy and impact, and you're correlating both parts in everything you do. So I salute you and I congratulate you on that.
Now, thank you. That really, yeah. Wow. I'm sorry. I'm getting emotional, man. That means a lot. It really does. It's not easy every day, but man,
hey man, that's what happens, brother. Now, in closing, I want you to give some advice. I know you're in the military, so maybe you can give some advice to some young biomeds that's in the industry. What advice would you share with them? I guess as a general, but you could talk about the military, because it seemed like you spent most of your adulthood in the service. So what advice would you give them who may be, in your footsteps one day? What advice would you give a young BMed?
Ooh. Enjoy the ride. Really soak in every bit of the ride, right? What I was going to say, oh man, when you reflect about where you've gone, especially when you're like now thinking about, I already finished my 20s 2 years ago, but the things you've done and the ride that got you there, enjoy it. And then soak up the knowledge from the shop around you. Every shop has different characters, right? And the backstories of each person that you come across really gives your life so much beauty and color in it, right? Even like hearing your story when we were talking at CMI Connect, I always remember those things. So for the young BMETs, learn about the people around you, learn about their stories. The most beautiful thing in this life is every person makes a decision every second. And every second of their life, it led to them crossing your path, right? Learn about those decisions and learn about their story. You meet somebody for a reason. So enjoy it. Enjoy learning that. So that's all I can say for each of BMET is just to learn about the beautiful people that you have around you, man.
Well said, brother. Well said. Well, man, I wish you much success with your HTM Summer Bash. And you have to come back on and tell me how successful it was. That could be another opportunity for us to talk about it. And maybe next year, if time slots fall right, maybe I'll come out there and join you. But I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Philip, man. And I wish you the best, my brother.
Thank you so much, Bill Hawk. And thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of HTM on the Line. It was truly inspiring to hear from Philip Villegas, whose dedication and passion for healthcare technology management shine as an example for all of us in the industry. Philip's journey reminds us of the profound impact that commitment, innovation, and community can have on our careers and the lives of those we serve. Remember to follow us on your favorite podcast platform to catch every episode of HTM on the Line. Your support helps us grow and bring more valuable content to you. Join us next time as we continue to explore the stories that are driving change and innovation in HTM. Until then, keep pushing boundaries and making a difference. Thank you for listening.